If you're feeling overwhelmed by the discovery of infidelity in your relationship, then please stay with us so we can show you how to create a plan for peace of mind so that you can begin to heal. Welcome to Recovery TV. We're glad that you decided to tune in with us today. Please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you can be notified when more helpful videos are posted. So in this video, Carrie and I are going to share with you something that we believe is really important for couples that have experienced betrayal trauma.
When someone finds out about betrayal trauma, one of the first feelings that people experience is being very overwhelmed. They often don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. They don't even know exactly how they feel.
Right, and in my mind, I have often said that it would seem like it's the most overwhelming experience that we could have in a relationship at times, because all at once your world changes. It gets tipped upside down in one fell swoop. So it's got to be overwhelming.
Right. And we often hear people calling and wanting to talk to us to help, and they don't even know where to start. One of the things that we've also noticed is how frustrating and actually hurtful it can be to have the wherewithal to decide to find a helping professional and to have to wait maybe weeks, maybe months to get in to see somebody to help you deal with betrayal trauma.
So that's why Carrie and I put our heads together and asking the question of, is there something that we can do, something that we can put out there for people that are having to wait, to just help them get started on something as they're waiting to get into that first appointment or waiting to meet with any particular person or entity that is trying to help with your recovery efforts.
And so what Josh and I have done in order to try and do our best to meet this need is we've created what we're calling a plan for peace of mind. And that title is really important, the word plan and the word peace, because we're trying to give people some direction, basically stop the bleeding that can happen when the wound of a betrayal has been revealed.
So Carrie and I have worked very diligently for a while now on a workbook that we've put together, and I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video below. But in this video, we really just want to hit the highlights for you so that you can begin putting your plan together. I also want to remind you that we have done several videos that answer a lot of questions that you might be asking, like what is betrayal trauma and what are the signs of sex addiction. So please feel free to peruse our channel and look for those videos that speak to you in terms of helping you understand what might be happening in your relationship right now. So when it comes to the plan for peace of mind, the way Carrie and I have organized it is basically 3 R's. And those R's are reassurance, routine, and random. So you want to remember those.
So we're going to talk about the first R, reassurance, and we're actually going to break that down into 2 categories. Many people are looking for reassurance that the relationship with the affair partner has ended. And so this is an important thing to do and to be specific about understanding and identifying how do you know that the relationship is over.
Right, and one thing that we've experienced a lot with the couples that we've worked with is they'll say like, I'm pretty sure, and we want you to be as sure as possible. We don't think it's possible to be absolutely sure, but it's really paying attention to what your gut says, and that if you feel like that you need a little bit more there, then it'd be important to think about what would be helpful for you to get that reassurance from your partner that this relationship is over.
So in the workbook, there are specific areas that help prompt you to identify specific ways that you can do something about attending to what you're uncertain about. Could that be that the 2 of you sit down and send out a text to the affair partner that states and clarifies that the contact has ended? And that's why this plan helps you be specific in identifying how do I get the clarity that it's over, but also what are the risks in doing so, and that you're doing that together. That there's not any secrets or there's not any ambiguity, uncertainty around, is it over? What's this person like? What are the risks?
Right. The second part of reassurance is emotional reassurance. Your world has been tipped upside down. You're probably an emotional mess in a lot of ways. And so you are feeling like you need more from your partner emotionally. So you might be asking like, do you love me? Or I want you to tell me you love me more, and things that kind of might even annoy you a little bit that you're requesting those things. And so this is not because you're defective or you're insecure. It's because you're injured, and this is good medication for you. So it's okay to identify those and go ahead and write those down and present those to your partner to let them know that I might just be asking more from you emotionally like this over and over again sometimes, and that's okay. It's just what I need right now for my healing.
And I think that making sure that that's something that the injured person gives themselves permission to by writing it down and attending to it and taking away any kind of stigma or assumptions that it's a sign of weakness or neediness, that's really important for both people in the relationship. Because when we're hurt, we need more attention to our injuries, whether they're physical or emotional. And that's just an important part of healing. And I would also say doing it early is going to set the stage for more impressive healing down the road.
So that's the first R, which is reassurances, and we map that out in detail in the workbook. But let's move on to the second R.
The second R is routine. And in the workbook, we're very specific and detail-oriented in helping people comb through their days and their weeks and identifying how they want to reorganize and restructure their routine. Because like Josh mentioned earlier, the discovery of a betrayal really tips everything over. And so even your daily routine, like going to work or taking care of children or caregiving, it all of a sudden feels completely different. And you can feel very disoriented, even in doing normal daily things.
Right. The level of chaos that you're dealing with after the experience of a betrayal is huge, and so this is an effort to really bring order in the midst of chaos. And so the workbook kind of maps this out and helping you identify what routines that you're already doing that are helpful to you, and make sure you identify those first, because you want to convey to your partner that you want to keep those going. But in the spirit of creating new dynamic in a new relationship and getting the healing that you need, it would be important to start creating new routines that you really do believe will be helpful to you. And those things can be modified. Like once you write it down or you try it, if it isn't working out the way that you thought, you can change it. That's okay, but you got to start somewhere.
Right. And because everything is different, what you need is going to be different. And what you need at the beginning is not what you're going to need in the middle or the end of your recovery. And so trying to stay present-minded and identifying those routines that are working and the new routines you want to create, that's an important piece of what this plan is about. It's really a timestamp. For right now, this is being helpful, like us regularly taking the kids to school together. That's helpful, but I also need one night a week where we are talking about how we're doing, like we're dealing with the issues. Right. I also need a new routine of that we have some time where we're together and we're not talking about the issues. We're retreating and resting. Those are just some prompts that we've put in there that are going to be helpful for people to think about. How can I structure my day so that I'm addressing the pain that's now part of my life?
So the third R is random, and this might be the hardest one to put together. At least from our experience in working with people, it seems to be the hardest, and I think you'll understand why as we go through it. So we consider this one what we call the morphine button, or the painkiller of sorts. So if you were physically injured and you were laid up in a hospital bed, you might get some kind of mechanism or device that if you're in pain, the doctors have permitted you to hit this button and it will inject some form of a painkiller into your system to help just ease your suffering, really. It's a temporary solution, but it just helps. And we believe that every partner that has been injured by infidelity needs to have their own morphine button that they can hit randomly. When the pain hits, you can press that button and it doesn't take away the pain completely. It just helps. It helps you manage.
This metaphorical pain reliever may look something like involving your partner in the moments of your suffering.
I would even venture to say that it's important to involve your partner, so as long as you feel safe enough to do so. And a lot of partners that we've worked with, they feel uncomfortable because they don't want their spouse or their partner to consider them weak and like they can't handle it. But it's really important to show your partner your injury and to say that this hits me out of nowhere at times, and I'm stewing in it all day, and I really could use your help. And it's not a forever thing. It's temporary, but there needs to be a plan.
Right. What we don't want and we get concerned about is when the injured partner tries to take on the pain of the infidelity all by themselves.
Right.
And none of us heal all by ourselves. We need people. People and support is really, really important in how well people recover. And so this is a challenge, and it brings up a lot of issues for both the person who has been, unfaithful and the person who's experienced the betrayal. But it's an important thing to start thinking about from the beginning, which is why we included it in our plan for peace of mind.
Right. And let me give a specific note to the unfaithful partner in this situation. If you're watching this, I want you to know that it is important for you to have what we call a whatever it takes mentality, but that's within reason. But most of the time, what your injured partner is going to request from you, usually it's not all that unreasonable. Sometimes it can get there, and we usually work with them on that, but most of the time they're not asking for unreasonable things.
Right.
If it feels unreasonable, then it'd be important to speak with a professional about that to gauge that, because we definitely wouldn't want you doing something that would be even more detrimental to your life or relationship.
Right.
So those are the 3 R's of the plan for peace of mind, and we hope that gets your wheels turning. But we really would encourage you to check out the workbook, which again, we put a link in the description below, because that workbook really maps out a lot of this in ways that get you thinking and gives you examples and things like that. And it also has a section in there where we help you figure out or determine how you're going to present this to your partner or spouse.
Right. And it's also important, like Josh said, to think about what you need and then how to ask for it. And so the workbook is designed to address both of those.
Right. And so, as we always say, any kind of intervention that we do like this, a workbook or a video, it's not a substitute for, professional help. And this is one of those particular things that I would venture to say most people would benefit from working with a professional therapist or somebody who's skilled in recovery from betrayal trauma to help you work through this. So please reach out to the resources available to you. I'll definitely put some links to some resources for you to search for therapists in your area that work with this particular issue.
So thanks for being here today. We hope that what we talked about was helpful, and we hope that the plan for peace of mind can help you.
Thanks.